All right. For a very, very long time now, I have had the opinion of Ben Shapiro, a very low opinion of Ben Shapiro, okay? And a common criticism that I've levied towards him, and that a lot of people on the left, just broadly outside of me, have levied towards him, is that he refuses to debate anybody who knows what they're talking about. Literally all of the popular debates he's done have been against random college kids who don't have anywhere near the amount of research or media training that he does. Now, granted, good for him. He's well researched, but isn't it maybe a little bit questionable that he picks and chooses his debate opponents this strictly to the point where he won't even debate somebody who also knows what they're talking about? I think it's a little bit suspicious, And so a lot of people on the left for a very long time now, because, Ben Shapiro would debate college kids, would make jokes about how, what if Ben Shapiro just straight up started debating children? And, it was always a meme. It was always ironic. I don't think anybody who ever said that ever actually expected Ben Shapiro to do something like that. I think we were all in agreement that that was just a meme. But Ben Shapiro wasn't. And, Ben Shapiro explains politics to kids. 480,000 views. Uploaded just a few days ago. Jesus Christ. So I do want to point out, by the way, conservatives have built an entire platform, I feel like, on the idea that the left is trying to push, like, being trans and gay and stuff like that on kids. So it is pretty ironic that Ben Shapiro, like, it really is just like, it's okay if kids are being radicalized to the right, but not to the left. But we're going to pretend like it's not. Listen, I think it's okay if kids are radicalized to the left, okay? If kids are taught, like the truth about the world, then that's probably a good thing, Hot take, I know. I think it's probably a good thing. But I'll totally accept that it's biased, that yes, I do believe that the left is correct. And I do think that children, when being taught about how the world is, should probably be taught from a more left-leaning perspective. But I don't pretend like I'm against the concept of teaching children about my worldview like the right does, and then simultaneously engage in indoctrinating children into my worldview, okay? I don't engage in that level of hypocrisy. Anyway, let's just hop into the video. It's going to be a banger. I already know it. From what I've heard of this video, I have not seen it yet. I haven't even watched a clip of it. All I know is apparently a kid in the crowd actually pushes back against Ben and wins, or like actually manages to like catch Ben off balance, and people have been talking about it like crazy. I watched it and it's comedy gold. No way. Okay, let's watch this shit.
And I know what you're thinking. Ben, haven't you read all the books there already? Of course I have, but that's not why we're here. My producers have given me a stack of cards. They have a bunch of terms on them having to do with the government. I have to explain these to very, very small children in a fashion that kids can understand. So we'll find out how this is going to go. This video is sponsored by our friends over at Conserva Kids.
Excuse me? What the fuck did he just say? Conserva Kids, teach kids about courage. Raise kids who love America, children's books that teach core American values. How much you want to bet this is a hate group? The drawings here look very similar to the ADF, the Alliance Defending Freedom, another designated hate group. How much you want to bet this is a hate group? American values are under attack. Today's culture is actively trying to diminish the value of freedom, courage, and hard work by inundating our children with messages that undermine those principles. Oh my fucking God, dude! They're doing it! They're actually doing it right now! They're literally Conserva Kids saying the left is trying to indoctrinate your children, dude. Oh my God. Here at Conserva Kids, we want to raise kids who love America and are proud of our country. While it may be fashionable to focus on what is negative, our kids deserve to be told what is right about America and learn to celebrate ideals such as freedom, courage, hard work, and personal responsibility. Guys, I've said this a million times. The conservative, the conservative master plan from the beginning has always been do a bunch of terrible shit while you're in power and deny it. And then when everybody realizes how horrible what you did was, you just slink into irrelevance for a while, then come back with like a new like coat of paint and deny that any of the things that were done in the past ever happened as people lose their memory about it. And then it all works out. You guys realize like it doesn't take that long either. You know, I keep saying it over and over again. Fucking Ruby Bridges is still alive. She was like one of the first black children to ever go to a non-segregated school in America, and she's still alive, and she's not that old. She's like really not. She's like you'd see her and you might think she's 50. You know? I showed a picture of her on stream recently. That was like taken like 5 or 6 years ago or something. It's like it really wasn't that long ago that we were doing segregation and redlining and whatnot. And conservatives who were alive back then, who were responsible for a lot of those policies, have managed to make America forget about them and convince them that none of it ever happened and it wasn't really that big of a deal in the first place. It's almost admirable how well you can like mind control and like trick an entire like demographic of people. My dad was alive when MLK and Malcolm X were alive. Yeah, like it's not like segregation was not that long ago. Like if you're in chat right now and you're black, chances are your grandparents definitely were around when segregation was a thing, and your parents might have been. So yeah, that's the reality of it. If you're black in this country, chances are you're living in a situation where your mom and dad or your grandparents, so your mom and dad's dad, literally couldn't buy certain land because of redlining and literally couldn't even drink at the same water fountain at school, or, well, couldn't even go to the same schools because of segregation. Even when they couldn't even drink at the same water fountain. This was not that long ago. We got to stop pretending like it was. Remember, even after segregation ended, there was still segregated water fountains for a while. They desegregated schools, which is when Ruby Bridges was like able to go to a white school and her story happened. But even after that, for a while, they still did like these are the white restrooms, these are the black restrooms. This is the white water fountain, this is the black water fountain. That was still a thing going on for a while after that. So even that is significantly more recent than the segregated schools, because that was around for a while after they desegregated schools. You guys really got to make sure you don't forget just how recent these events were in the grand scheme of things. My parents were alive when segregation was a thing. Yeah, Lonnie's parents were alive when it was a thing. It was very recent.
Hey guys, how's it going? Wow, you're very well-behaved children. All right, so I'm supposed to teach you about things today. So get ready.
Yay?
Yay?
Oh,
I've
boy.
seen my mom look at him on Facebook. She said he was a very smart guy.
Do you think he is?
Oh, no.
Well, now that I've met him, maybe.
Freedom. Okay, freedom.
Wait, what? Oh, my God. Wait, this kid's... Dude, kids are fucking mean, okay? You will never hear a more hurtful insult than an insult from a child. Okay? Because children have absolutely no filter, and you know for a fact they're telling you the God's honest truth when they insult you. When a kid comes up to you and says, "You're ugly," you know for a fact that kid's fucking right, because that kid doesn't have a filter like everybody else does, you know? Like, everyone else is thinking that. The kid's seeing it and thinking it, and the kid doesn't have the filter to not say it like everyone else does. Obviously, it hasn't happened to me, but I've heard stories of it happening to people, and yeah, it's usually accurate when a kid says that. Kids are fucking assholes. You'll hear the rudest and meanest roast from a child. I swear to God.
Oh, now that I've met him, maybe.
Freedom. Okay, freedom.
Definition?
Oh yeah, give me a definition. Go for it.
America.
Definition of freedom is America. Okay, that's actually okay. I kind of
Based.
like that. I'm with you.
I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm okay with being super pro America. Unironically, like even unironically, I'm pro being. I'm okay with being super pro America. I like America, and I think it's the best country on earth. And I'm not joking right now. I love America.
America. Okay, so
America.
freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. Freedom is the ability to make good choices and have those pay off. A lot of people kind of think that freedom.
Freedom is the ability, like, to put it as simply as possible, freedom is the ability to do whatever you please without infringing on the freedom of others to do whatever they please. Like, to put it simply, the right to swing your fist ends at my face, right? However, and I want to add a big however here, we in this country, and even Ben Shapiro seems to agree, have many cases where we cut down on people's freedoms because we think it's probably for the greater good, or at least Ben Shapiro thinks it is. Like, for example, drugs. Ben Shapiro, I would imagine, is very, very much in favor of the drug war, okay? And all drugs are, I mean, that's just a thing that you're doing voluntarily, that you're putting just into your own body. And if anything bad happens because you're doing it, that's all happening to you. That's all on you, really, at the end of the day. And yet, conservatives like Ben Shapiro push for the drug war. But how do they reconcile that with their takes about being so pro-freedom? The reason for it is the drug war and the over-policing of, like, areas where drug use is high is the best method to keep black people down, okay? It is the best method to over-police black people, and that's what they want to do, because they're racist. I'm tired of, like, sugarcoating it. They are racist, like, let's be real. At least to some degree. Maybe it's just a little bit, maybe it's a lot. To some degree. I'm not saying Ben Shapiro's out there in like a fucking KKK hoodie, like out there burning crosses in people's yards, but he's probably a little racist. Yeah. It's like, why else would he be so against the movements to liberate, black people from so many different forms of oppression?
Freedom is you get to do what you want. So if you want to run into a tree, that's freedom.
Eat.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't eat people like that. You don't have freedom to eat people. Cannibalism is bad.
I forgot what that's called.
It's called cannibalism.
My mom and dad told me I was gonna meet Ben Shapiro.
And did you know who he was?
Nope.
Government. Okay, so who has an idea about government? Go for it.
I don't.
Government is what takes all of your money and gives you very little in return.
That is not true.
Okay, that's...
Wait. Is this kid about to fucking, like, go sicko mode right now? Hold on. How does this child know this much about politics? This kid's mom... Well, actually, this kid's mom apparently likes Ben Shapiro. How's this kid gonna be so based? Apparently, this is the kid that debates him? What is this kid fucking shit? Yeah, baby communist Sheldon Cooper. Oh my god. Wait, this kid's mom is like a conservative. He is the average Vosh viewer? Yeah, maybe he just watches Vosh. That's true. This kid just had a Vosh video stumble into his fucking YouTube recommendations one day, and he watched it, and now he's ready. He actually knows exactly who Ben Shapiro is, and he's been waiting for this moment his entire life. He's actually trying to contain himself really hard right now, and he's actually a little Voshite, and he's about to debate Ben Shapiro, and he is blown away at the opportunity that's just fallen on his plate, and he's trying to keep his cool and pretend like he doesn't know what's up. I know what's going on.
I mean, it's kind of true. It depends on the kind of government.
Taxes are for.
Yeah, that is what taxes are for, but taxes are theft, children. The reality is that government is necessary so that people don't hurt each other, so that people don't...
I know I joke about taxes being theft all the time on my channel, but I want to be clear, it's not. Taxation isn't actually theft. It's not. Like, a good way to think about it, I think, is that... Our nation is like a company, I guess you could think, like a hotel, you know? Like a hotel. Our nation's like a hotel. Our government functions like the hotel staff, right? To keep the hotel running, you know, the people staying at the hotel kind of do have to pay. Like there has to be some way in a capitalist system where things are run with money. There has to be some way for the government to be funded for it to work. We need to have a functioning military. We need to have a functioning system for building infrastructure. We need to have a functioning system for prisons and law enforcement. We need to have a functioning system for things like firefighters and medical services, like ambulances and hospitals and shit like that. These are all things that our tax money does go to. I know it's easy to say, oh, it just goes to war and shit like that, into the pockets of politicians, but realistically, our tax money goes to a lot more than that. Like, literally, like, how much in tax money per year do you think the government extracts from citizens total, do you think? Is that public? I wonder if that number is public. It's got to be high, right? Like, do you think it's in the trillions? It would have to be, right? For so many people? So many incomes from so many people? It has to be in the hundreds of billions, but I don't know. A very high amount of money, right? Like, it's got to be a decent amount. I recommend looking into it for anybody who wants to know what it is. I'm going to look into it whenever I'm bored enough to look into it, but a good amount of chunk of our taxes, you know, go into things that we actually use, you know? Who brought that up? Yeah, Nibiru 420. A good chunk of our taxes goes into Medicaid and Medicare. Yeah, exactly. I think as long as you're being reimbursed, I think I would argue that under Ben Shapiro's logic, you would be a freeloader if you didn't pay taxes. Because the government, I mean, well, Ben Shapiro, you know, I assume would want to form some type of government where you wouldn't have roads. So there wouldn't be roads if nobody paid taxes. But let's assume there are still roads and infrastructure and all those things in a world where there are no taxes paid and the government has no money to pay for these things. Let's say hypothetically that happens. Wouldn't that person be a freeloader? Wouldn't we all be freeloaders if, like, wouldn't this basically just be what Ben Shapiro thinks communism is if none of us paid taxes? I don't know. Listen, Ben Shapiro and conservatives broadly can't define any of the things they dislike, so I kind of have to, try to figure out what they think communism means to figure out whether or not they're being hypocritical.
Murder each other. Right, so people don't eat people. That's right.
Yes.
You do need a government to prevent people from eating people. The Constitution. Who knows something about the Constitution? Anybody heard of the Constitution? Anybody heard of the Constitution?
Never heard of it.
Okay, so the Constitution. Okay, the Constitution is the document that lays out the list of rules for what the government can do and what the government cannot do. So the Declaration of Independence is 1776. So right as we're founding the country, right as the founding fathers are founding the country.
Does it not also put into bounds what people can do as well, Ben? I mean, yeah, like the Constitution, several different points in the Constitution are determinant of people's rights, okay? Like if you get rid of a few of those amendments to the Constitution, you're getting rid of a few demographics' rights in this country, okay? So I'm pretty sure the Constitution doesn't just determine rules for the government. I think it also determines what the rules for the people as well.
In the Revolutionary War, we fought a war against Great Britain in 1776.
Based.
You know a lot.
What was that?
And talk
Okay, maybe you do know a lot.
and talk fast.
Yeah, I
Yes,
do talk
very
fast.
fast.
But you guys can keep up. You're young.
I do run pretty fast.
I'm sure you
I
do.
can run very fast.
I mean,
run super
Let me tell you, I don't worry about talking too fast with kids because my kids wipe me out. My kids tire me out. Okay,
Oh my God, how fast do you think Ben Shapiro's children talk? They're probably they could probably get a pretty good job working at one of those places where you can talk really fast like this. Wait, where is it? Like those dog tracks, like a dog track where you got the guy with the microphone. And he, 4 going ahead, and 3 going ahead, like where you got to talk really fast like that. I bet Ben Shapiro's kids could do that. Like an auctioneer. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
the president.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
Who knows who the
Biden.
president is right now?
Biden.
Yeah.
Joe
Joe.
Biden.
That's right.
Wrong. The real president is Donald J. Trump. How could you betray us, Ben?
Unfortunately, Joe Biden.
I'm with you.
Unfortunately,
One of the kids said, unfortunately, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joe Biden. Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah, Trump,
Yeah.
he is the best. He was better. Don't insult the president because he will come and
I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess, a wild swing. And I'm going to guess that the way that this whole thing was organized was not like just Ben walked into a building and a bunch of random kids were there and now he's talking to them. I'm going to assume that this was like conservative parents who, like Ben Shapiro, reached out to this when it was advertised and then had their kids and took their kids here. So these kids are probably already at a pretty high likelihood of being conservative already, or, you know, having conservative parents, and we all know where that leads at the very least. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these kids here like Trump just because their parents like Trump. But that one kid that was pushing back against Ben, that was weird because that kid's parents don't like Trump. So maybe that kid's just extremely independent politically from their parents at a unusually young age, which I guess does happen. I have met surprisingly young people who have differing opinions politically from their parents, which is surprising, but sure.
attack you.
Whoa!
Anyhow.
Yeah, he's way off base about that.
Taxes. Okay, do you guys like taxes?
Taxes are fees that you have to pay for your houses.
Well, yeah, it's not.
Close. I bet that kid probably heard his parents talk about property tax. Property tax is a thing. Close enough, kid.
There is.
And air conditioning and solar.
Right, you have to pay taxes on like everything.
Yeah.
Like
Watches.
everything. Except
Electricity.
not on your.
Is there a tax on solar energy? How the fuck did they get away with that? Okay, if there's a tax on solar energy, if they tax you for the solar panels you put on your fucking house to make your own energy, then that is unironically theft. Okay, that is a bit sussy. If they tax you on that, okay, that would be indefensible. Because generally, when you're consuming something and you pay taxes for it, you can make the argument that you're consuming something and you're giving back by paying taxes, right? Like sales tax is a good example, right? But if you're just like doing your own sustainable energy, that's just the government taxing you because they want to like siphon some money out of you for the fuck of it.
Income in Florida because Florida's amazing. Right. So taxes are the government takes a part of the money that you spend or the money that you earn.
I think you get tax credits for getting panels in California. I wouldn't be surprised.
Or the property value of your house.
On useless stuff. What about debt?
Mostly, yes. I mean, they're supposed to spend it on things like the police. They're not supposed to spend it on just random projects or silly things that they have in their head, and they tend to spend it on kind of silly things very often.
Like what, Ben? Like silly like what, the Build Back Better bill? Like you mean like infrastructure bills? Like silly little things like the Green New Deal? What do you mean silly little projects? Or what do you mean? Doesn't most of our tax money go to the military? Like, oh yeah, medical fucking medical care. Yeah, that's a little project. That's a dumb little project we shouldn't be putting our money in, Ben. I mean, Ben does hate poor people, so that does make sense. Silly little projects like helping people, gross. True. That is what Ben Shapiro believes.
But as you get older, you will realize how little you like taxes. Taxes are very, very annoying.
I will say, and lefties got to stop pretending it's not. Taxes suck, okay? Taxes really do suck. They do. It sucks to have to pay taxes. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes to have to give up some of the money they worked hard for.
Raptor * has donated $5
and not really get to see a tangible in front of them benefit to it, because the way that taxes is sort of like, you know, presented to you is like you're paying for something. It's like a transaction. But the problem is when you pay taxes, you don't really tangibly get to see what your money went to in front of you, right? Like when the road that you drive to work on gets fixed, you don't really think about, oh, that's what my tax money's going to. But when you look on the news and you see a story about like a I don't know, about some fucking building getting fucking drone striked, you think, that's what my tax money is going to. God damn it. Oh, fucking hell. Like, you don't really think about, like when it's a positive thing, that's what my tax money is going to, right? I've thought about that before because when my grandma had cancer, when my grandma was dying and she had cancer, and she would be getting chemo, at that time I was working my first job as a lifeguard. So I'd be getting my my checks in the mail or did I get them? I can't remember if I got my checks in the mail or if they gave them to me. I think they might have mailed them to me. Anyway, I get my check from my job, and I'd always show it to my grandma, mostly because it was like, hey, look, it's my first job. Look, I got another paycheck. Look, grandma, because I'm just proud, right? And they show on my paycheck a little deduction for, I think it was Medicaid. It was either Medicare or Medicaid. I think it was Medicaid. The deduction that was made for like paying for Medicaid. And that was my grandma was on. And so my grandma was like, that's how much you paid into my treatment for cancer. FICA deduction could have been that. I don't know what that is, but yeah, it was like, I do need to learn more about finances. That's something I definitely need to do. But yeah, it was really, really cool to be able to just see right there, like, that is my tax money. That is the money that I made from working going to a system that is paying for my grandmother's cancer treatment. Unfortunately, my grandma didn't survive, but nobody survives lung cancer, essentially. So it wasn't exactly like too surprising, but still, that I think it's worth thinking about where your tax money does go to sometimes. You never really notice. You never really notice the positive things, I mean.
Alrighty, let's see what else.
Yo.
Quantitative easing.
What?
Wow, who put this one in here?
What is that?
All right, are we really gonna do this?
laughing?
We could do this. Okay, so
I've heard this before.
yeah, I know. I'm with you.
Everyone's laughing.
The reason that they're laughing is because this is super duper complicated. You know what a dollar is,
educate
right?
me, Ben.
I've used dollars
Yeah.
before. How about Monopoly money? Have you guys ever played Monopoly? Right? Okay.
My mom and dad in it.
If you guys went to the store with Monopoly money, could you buy anything?
No.
No, you couldn't. Why not?
Because it's fake.
Because it's not real money. There is an agency of the federal government. It's called the Federal Reserve. Okay, the Federal Reserve controls how many dollars are out there. If they just print a bunch of dollars and then they just give you those dollars, it turns out they didn't make you rich.
I haven't been to the Federal Reserve before, but I did go to a mint in Colorado once, and it was so fucking dope. It was really fucking cool. They printed coins there too. They minted coins there as well. So I got to see like a swimming pool's worth of fucking coin blanks. I don't know why, but something about blank like quarters to me, just these blank quarters, they're so shiny, like make me want to like just have them. I know they're not worth anything other than like what they're made out of, which isn't worth much. But like I just want to have like a big fucking bag of blank quarters. There's just something about them, I think he's trying to impress the children with big words. Yeah, maybe. Rip pennies. Dude, pennies gotta go, okay? Pennies gotta be abolished. Pennies have to go.
All that happened is that your dollar now doesn't buy as many things. If the Federal Reserve just makes $1,000 and gives it to you and gives it to everybody, you can't buy an ice cream bar with $1 anymore. Now the ice cream bar is gonna cost like $1,000. Okay?
That's not necessarily true. I don't think if you gave every American that's not how money works. No. Okay. The US dollar is worth however much America says it's worth, okay? That's not how that works. And even I know that. Think about it for a second. How does inflation go up and down, chat? It's not because money is getting destroyed. It's because the government... It's because what decides how much the dollar is worth is a somewhat arbitrary decision. Now, there are systems and very specific reasons for why inflation is where it is now. And they don't just say it's at zero for the fun of it. But it is an arbitrary number. It is only backed up by the word of the government. But the word of the government is pretty powerful considering the fact that the US dollar is what every single business in America takes. And frankly, what every single country in the world seems to have at least some value in. Like the US dollar will have some level of value, I think, in every nation. Like I think you can convert it into something just about anywhere, right? It's a pretty stable currency. It's pretty solid.
Okay, that's what quantitative easing is.
Can you explain to me the concept of quantitative easing? Go.
I forgot.
So guys, you just learned more than you will in all of college about how the government works. So
I know that this is like, I know that was a joke he was making with some kids, but that's actually indicative of his actual opinion. Conservatives are anti-intellectual. Now, Ben Shapiro has a college education. He's a well-educated man because he is smart and wants to make money and knows how to make money. But you have to understand, 99% of Ben Shapiro's fans are 15-year-old boys or like complete fucking losers, okay? And burnouts, all right? Burnout losers, okay? Not the types of people that have gone to college or have graduated college and are able to say whether or not going to college is worth it, okay? Or whether or not a college education is good.
one of the questions that I frequently get asked is, how do I talk to my own children about conservative values and the things that matter? And my answer is Conserva Kids. Conserva Kids brings you books like Home of the Brave, for example, in which they discuss things like American values and American history. They're beautifully illustrated, they're really well written, and they have...
I really wonder what their segment about slavery is like. Do they talk about slavery in it, do you think, at all? Do you think they just fully shamelessly just skip it and don't acknowledge it at all? Or do you think they teach like a super whitewashed version? Or do you think they teach like a disgustingly fucking wrong version of the story? Like unironically like just almost like the slaves liked it level of history revisionism. What do you want to bet, chat? I really hope it's the former, or the latter. Yeah, I really hope it's the most of the latter. The most latteriest of the latter. How do they teach slavery? They don't. If they either just don't touch on it or they massively misrepresent it. There's no way they actually teach it like accurately. They're against that. They've admitted they're against that.
Values that you can feel comfortable sharing with your children, which is the most important thing. There's so many forces out there that are seeking to twist what kids think. There's so many people out there who want your kids to believe things that they really shouldn't believe, who want to...
So let us do it instead.
Take control of your child's education.
So shameless.
Not so with Conserva Kids. Conserva Kids is the way that you can teach your kids about the stuff that matters. They bring you all sorts of beautiful books. They have a great variety, a great selection. Check them out today at theconservakids.com/Shapiro. That's theconservakids.com/Shapiro. You get 15% off when you use...
Hey, chat. You should all donate and subscribe or gift a sub at Xanderhal.com/live. That's Xanderhal.com/live. Once again, that's Xanderhal.com/live.
Code 15BEN.
Imagine if I shilled for my channel like that.
Again, they just make great materials. They're safe for all your kids. Not just safe, they're virtuous for you to get for your kids. Theconservakids.com/Shapiro. That's theconservakids.com/Shapiro. 15% off with code 15BEN. Okay, go for it.
Good one.
What do you think about like superstars and athletes talking about politics?
So everybody in the country gets to
That's a
talk
good
about
question.
whatever they want to talk about, but athletes and superstars generally don't know anything about what they're talking about when it comes to politics. When LeBron James says things, that doesn't mean he knows things. Yeah.
I do love, though, that conservatives will literally boycott they literally boycotted the NFL to try to get Colin Kaepernick fired. They literally don't want these large figures to be able to have a voice if they disagree with them. They vie to get those they disagree with deplatformed all the time. Don't let them pretend like it's a one-sided thing, like the left is trying to, shut up and dribble, yeah. It's not like this is a one-sided thing where the left is trying to censor the right. No, the right will absolutely take every opportunity that they can possibly get to censor the left, because of course they would. The right wants to win. I would hope as much as the left does, but I would find that somewhat questionable at times because the left doesn't seem to want to win as much as the right, frankly, and it kind of pisses me off sometimes, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Will you ever be a president?
all the presidents are now 100 years old, right? Like Joe Biden is really, really old. Joe Biden is 79 years old. I'm 38, which to you guys seems like super old, right? No? Okay, good. That's true.
My mom is 42. My dad's 52. My dad is 48.
I'll wait until my kids are grown up.
Boomers.
I would never run for office while I have little kids, because I want to be home with my kids. My kids are super cute. I want to spend a lot of time with them.
When is Ben gonna admit that he's gonna run for president?
If he wanted to be president, he would probably be it tomorrow, but he just talks about it.
Raise your hand if you want Trump to be president. That means you
I feel like this kid is trolling.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Why are the people angry at the government?
Why are people angry at the government? Because sometimes the government tells us to do stuff the government
Because
shouldn't tell
government
us
bad.
Do you think homeschooling will ever be banned?
Not in Florida. So I think that there will be places that try to stop homeschooling. I come from a state called California.
I was homeschooled, and I'm glad I got my high school diploma and all that, but frankly, it was so easy to cheat and not learn shit. I did something called FLVS. It was like online schooling. It was so fucking easy to cheat. I don't remember jack shit from anything that I learned from anything like math related, okay? Math was what I really cheated on. History, English and stuff like that I did, like science stuff I did, like genuinely because I liked it. But oh my God, I literally fucking Googled my way through every math class and I don't remember any of it. And thank God I ended up becoming a YouTuber because otherwise let's just say that I'm not good enough at math to do basically anything that requires you to do any math, okay? And I don't do anything well under pressure either. So I don't know if I could be a cashier because I feel like the pressure of having to count someone's money in front of them while they're in a hurry to do something, I feel like that would be too much pressure for me. I don't know. Me too, thanks, Zan. Yeah. I'm right there with you, Space Cadet.
Where monsters roam the streets and garbage is strewn everywhere. It's a horror-scape. No, I'm joking. They don't actually have real monsters, but it's a really poorly, the way that they run the state is really bad. So they have lots of crime, they have high taxes.
Like you think there is a monster.
Right, exactly. I came here because...
Okay. The reason why California has California has literally the largest economy in the entire country, okay? It has a larger economy than some European countries, okay? That it has a larger economy than some European first world countries, to give you an idea, all right? Of course it has a higher crime rate, okay? It has a ridiculously high population. When you have a higher population density with that high of an amount of wealth inequality, of course there's going to be higher crime and a higher rate of homelessness. Not to mention, and not like Republicans or conservatives like Ben Shapiro are any better at this, liberals are pretty bad at dealing with homelessness, okay? They are pretty bad at dealing with homelessness. I don't know if this is like an irrelevant stun lock, but I'm going to tell the story anyway. You guys will notice I actually have a new weed pen, a new weed cartridge on my vape here, and the reason for that is I had to go buy one last night, and I ended up walking.
Welcome to capitalism, dude.
Thank you. As not to give any details as to how some psycho out there could triangulate my exact location using this information, let's just say that it is multiple miles to the nearest dispensary from where I live. So I walked, so I decided to, last night I needed to get some weed because I was playing Escape from Tarkov. I've been playing a lot of Escape from Tarkov. The only problem with that game is it's very stress-inducing and I need to be high as fuck when I'm playing it or I'll have tremors and I'll be sweating and I'll be stressed out and I'll have a panic attack. So I have to be I need some weed to chill out, okay? So I take my phone, put on some headphones, grab some water. With FPS Russia, I did play some Tarkov with FPS Russia, yes. I get some water, I put on my headphones, I pack my vape, everything I need to go on this little journey. And it's going to be let's just say it was a good hour and a half walk total, okay? My trip was over an hour and a half of walking and getting to the dispensary and getting back. That's how long I'll say it took, roughly. May have taken longer. Anyway, so basically, I'm walking, all right? I'm walking to the dispensary, and it's California, and even though it's a very nice neighborhood, and it's not a very poor neighborhood, there's still a lot of homeless people around, like hanging out on the sidewalk and stuff like that as I'm walking, and they're all quite friendly, and I say hello to them and stuff like that. They're all trying to fucking get by and all that. And I'm walking, and this one guy starts walking behind me. This like old white dude who looks... He looks like the biker guy from The Walking Dead who tried to rape Carl. You guys remember that? It's a little bit later into the show, but there's a scene where some like biker gang guys try to rape Carl, and Rick literally bites and rips the guy's throat out. Spoilers, Lonnie, it's way, way before where we are now in the show, Lonnie. You just don't remember. This is why we need to rewatch the show from the beginning, because you don't remember any of these things. It was right before Terminus, Lonnie. I know, but other people... Yeah, but this is like... Dude, this is an old episode. If you haven't seen it yet, then you fucking deserve it. You deserve to get spoiled if you hadn't seen it yet, okay? Anyway, he looked like that guy. He looked like the guy from that episode of The Walking Dead. You guys can Google it, okay? Look up Walking Dead Rick bites throat, and you'll see the guy, and you'll know what I'm talking... He looked a bit like that guy. And he was walking behind me. And he didn't look homeless or anything. He just looked creepy. And it was one of those situations where, almost certainly one of those situations where, maybe you want to be walking alone, but somebody else just happens to be walking to probably the same place, or at least somewhere near. You said he looked like a pedophile? Yeah, he looked like a pedophile is what I'm saying. Okay, all I'm saying is, let me just say this, chat. If you saw a news report on TV where they talked about a guy shanking a dude on the sidewalk in the middle of the night and robbing him, and then they showed this guy's picture for the mugshot, you wouldn't be like, oh, how could somebody so well put together do such a horrible crime? Let's just say the crime would fit the appearance, okay? Sometimes you can just kind of tell, all right? Anyway, so this creepy fucking dude, probably not actually gonna do anything or actually like trying to fuck with me or anything, is walking behind me, and I'm just kind of freaked out about it. And I'm walking, and I'm like taking every opportunity every time there's a street to like run across the street, because make it look like I just don't want to get hit by a car, and I like to get across the street quickly, to build a lot of distance. And eventually I build like 120 feet of distance where this guy's behind me. And I get to this point where, like, there are some side streets you could take that would get you to the dispensary, but it would be slower. These side streets would be slower than the road that I'm taking to get to the dispensary. You would have to either run or get a vehicle to get there faster than me at this point. All right? But I turn around as I'm turning this corner, this one corner out of this entire fucking goddamn like part of the walk that I'm at, where it's like a long straight area, and he's not there. I'm like, oh, okay. So I turn this corner, I go around this corner, and I'm heading towards the dispensary because the dispensary's not far now. And I get to the dispensary, and chat, I shit you not, I get there, I walk in, I give the guy my card. I give the guy at the thing my card. He asked me, "Is this your first time or are you returning?" I say, "I'm returning," because I go there all the time. And then I get in. The guy's already there. The guy that was behind me, already there at the fucking counter, having his weed checked out. So somehow he got from being like 120 feet behind me to the dispensary before me, got to the same dispensary way before me, and was not only had he already gotten, he didn't know where I was going or anything. Not only had he already gotten his like ID and his age verified and got through security and all that, though I guess he was old enough looking that he probably would have just gotten buzzed through immediately if we're being real. But not only he was able to get there before me and pick his weed and get to the like have his like get his weed like almost checked out. But then on the way back, and I'm walking back, okay? He walks... I guess we live nearby each other, I suppose. This is why you hit up your local dealer. Listen, okay, there's no fucking weed dealers in around here anymore. There's dispensaries, okay? Anyway, so I'm walking back. Yes, there are. Really? Who the fuck sells weed anymore? Why would that even be, like, I guess, maybe, okay, all right, yeah, all right. Fuck, I'd buy weed from some random dude if it meant I could buy it for cheaper. Like when these cartridges, if I could get these cartridges for cheaper than I could at a dispensary, I'd buy them from some random dude. Anyway, as I was saying, they don't sell those. They sell weed. Well, that's just fucking cringe. Did you guys end up smoking? No, we didn't end up smoking together. I ended up walking home, and he was walking on the opposite side of the road, on the other sidewalk, basically parallel to me almost the entire time. And then I made it back. And Lonnie accused me of being the weirdo in that situation. Do you guys think I was the weirdo in that situation? Lonnie thinks I was. She accused me of being the weirdo. Yes, you 100% were. Oh. Oh. Well, you guys are just mean.
Because Florida is amazing, guys. You're so lucky to be growing up in Florida. Florida's amazing.
America is the best,
God.
but Florida's really hot.
What does the government
Yes, it is.
What does the government do? Okay, so there's various kinds of government. There's your local government, like where you live. And then there's the state government, like the state of Florida, and then there's the federal government. They all do different things. So your local government, they do the police and they do the firefighting. Okay, then there's the state government. The state government decides, for example, how money goes to your local public school, for example, or how taxes get paid and how roads get made and all of that. Then there's the federal government. The federal government, the Constitution says what the federal government can do. Make sure that there's an army and a navy and an air force and that they are able to protect us against people who would want to attack the United States. That's the biggest thing the federal government does. Yeah.
Do you think
I mean, wait, Ben, I understand you're explaining it to children, but I feel like that's unironically what Ben believes. Like, there's something I've noticed about conservatives, and I know why they do it. I'm going to explain why they do it, and it's very shameless, but here we go. So conservatives really, really hate the federal government and will shit talk the federal government endlessly. State government, though, especially if it's a red state. Now red state, now state government, that's where it's all at. That's where all the good shit is. That they're doing what actually matters. The federal government, they're just wasting all their money. No, the federal government is responsible for literally every single bill that determines the way that our money is distributed, that our budget is balanced as a nation. Not only do they operate our military, but they also completely operate our current status with other nations across the world so that we're on good terms and that we can engage in trade with them. You know, like these are really important things that the federal government does. I imagine I could go on for a lot longer, but I don't know as much about the federal government as I could. But believe me, if I knew more about it, I could list more things. But these are just things that I can list as somebody who doesn't even know that much. And even I can call out Ben's bullshit here.
think Biden actually follows his own law?
I think that Biden kind of makes up the rules as he goes. I don't think, unfortunately, he cares very much about the rules for being president. I think he just tries to do whatever he can do. And then he hopes that nobody stops him, which is not a very...
What has Biden done that has been self-serving, dog? Wait, you just perfectly described Trump. Dude, the projection on these people. Wait, what? Can you guys think of one self-serving thing Biden has done in office? I'm genuinely, chat. One self-serving, corrupt thing he's done while he's been in office so far. He really hasn't done much. He's just been like a pretty general status quo, maybe we push it a little better in some social space, some social areas, when it comes to social movements, because that's popular among Democrat voters. But for the most part, maintaining the status quo and whatnot. Yeah, he did not pass the capitalism abolishment executive order. That was pretty cringe. I'm not a big fan of that. God, can you imagine if that was real? Jesus fucking Christ.
Very good way of being president. And that's why the founders were really smart. The founders created a
Probably
system
not possible.
where there are people who can stop you if you break the rules, which is really important.
Do you think China purposefully caused a pandemic?
Oh my
I think
God.
that China purposefully covered up a pandemic. It probably started in a laboratory in China, and then it got released, and then they pretended that it was not their fault, and they didn't know what was going on, and they lied a lot, and then it got out and killed a lot of people.
Dude, can we go back and see the fucking evolution of it's ironic. Ben Shapiro, you claim not to defend evolution, and yet your arguments about this have evolved constantly. Dude, watching Ben Shapiro talk about COVID over the years has been wild. So first it was COVID isn't a big deal, it's not real. Then it was it's not a big deal, we need to get back to work. It is real. And it does kill people, sure, but we need to get back to work, okay? You need to all get back to work, all right? And then it was, okay, it's killing a lot of people, and it is serious, but the masks and the vaccines are too far. And then and now they've evolved it to, okay, it is serious, and okay, maybe you should get vaccinated, ask your doctor, because YouTube's clamping down on their balls a little bit. But also, China caused it, and China tried to cover it up in the first place, which I feel like their final conclusion, their talking points now, don't really mesh well with their previous talking points previously, where they said that it wasn't real and they were trying to disregard and ignore it originally, and now they're trying to claim that China tried to cover it up. Meanwhile, it was liberal media outlets getting information from China that originally got everyone to know about COVID.
Do you think the Supreme Court will overturn
Supreme Court? I love that.
Wow. I think the Supreme Court will not overturn Roe versus Wade, unfortunately. I have a feeling that the Supreme Court is going to change the rules of Roe versus Wade, but that doesn't mean they're going to throw it out completely. They're going to do what they always do, and they're going to be confusing about it.
Who is your favorite Democrat?
Wow, that is a difficult question.
I know, right?
A Democrat who's alive?
We finally
Right now, Joe Manchin, Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia is my current favorite Democrat. He's preventing Joe Biden from doing a lot of bad things.
Why is that not surprising? The most Republican Democrat would be his favorite. I bet if you asked him what his second favorite is, it would be cinema.
Do you think we can have a stable government again?
I think that the government is still pretty stable, is the truth. We should be grateful to live in a country where the government is this stable. The truth is that if you look at history and if you look at all other countries, there are a lot of countries that really don't have a stable government, and it's really difficult. We're so lucky to live in this country, we really are. So as much as we have problems here in the United States, this is still a fabulous, fabulous country, and we should all really be grateful.
Dog, if you're here and you're American, you did still really luck out to have been born in a really easy leveling zone, you know? Think about it like World of Warcraft leveling zones, you know? Being born here is like being born in Elwyn Forest, okay? Being born in the Middle East is like being born in fucking goddamn I don't know, what's a really difficult WoW zone? The Burning Steppes or something. Not a very fun place to be.
To live here. And that I guess is the thing that I would say to all you guys. You're gonna live for a super long time, and you're gonna get to see all sorts of amazing things happen in the country. And the most important thing to remember is the harder you work, the better your life is going to be. The better the decisions you make, the more responsible you are, the more you help other people, the better your life is gonna be.
That's not wrong, by the way. I do think that conservatives try to sort of something that conservatives do is they wrap up political propaganda in decent self-help life advice. Conservatives have sort of built they've sort of gotten a monopoly on being like the party of responsibility, like the politically or like the responsibility party, right? The people who are all about buckling down, putting on those fucking boots and getting to work, right? They've sort of given themselves that reputation in society, I think. And I think it's somewhat well earned because they've done a really good job of sort of using that sort of talking point in their propaganda. A big part of conservative, demagoguery is convincing people that we live in a meritocracy, that we all live on a pretty much level playing field. Maybe there's a few bumps, but those aren't a big deal. There's always going to be bumps. Don't worry about those bumps. But we live on a pretty level playing field, and anybody who is suffering under our system is suffering because they must have made some bad choices. And frankly, if you ask them, they probably do deserve to suffer because of those bad choices. If you ask Ben Shapiro, he probably believes that. That is like the number one talking point from conservatives. So when they need to convince you that we live in a meritocracy, it's very, very important for them to, at every single turn, say, oh, hard work will get you by. Now, don't get me wrong. Hard work will get you by, okay? Hard work, you can't get anywhere without hard work unless you are extraordinarily lucky, and you're probably not going to be lucky, okay? It's called luck for a reason. You do need to work hard if you're going to survive in this world. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, you do have to work pretty fucking hard to get by, okay? And hard work is something that's worth, admiring, right? I worked really hard to build this YouTube channel. I don't think anyone could argue in good faith that I didn't. I mean, it's taken years. It's taken like a lot of blood, sweat, and fucking cum to get this channel to where it is today. And, I'm pretty proud of it. And I think the left doesn't fetishize hard work as much as the right does. So the right's almost been able to get a monopoly on being like the hard work people, like the real responsible people.
In this country, which is the best country in the world, if you make great decisions, you're going to have an unbelievably awesome life. You're going to make a huge difference in the world, and you can make the world a better place.
On your head?
Oh, good question. Okay, so this is a yarmulke. Jews and Christians believe in the same God. We just have slightly different beliefs about the kind of stuff that we have to do that God says that we have to do. So what this means is that Orthodox Jews who keep a lot of commandments, we keep this on our head, right? In the Bible, when it talks about the Israelites, that's the Jews. So the Jews eventually, now we're their descendants. So we keep the yarmulke on our head to remind us that God is around us at all times, so we should make good decisions, basically. Alrighty, guys. Well, you can go enjoy your day.
Why not
now,
like a ring?
So you're good. Thank you, guys. It's great to meet all of you.
Why not something like more convenient, though?
I have 3 of my own, so more children. Children in my house. No, they've got parents. I feel like their parents should keep them.
Which is tougher, talking to kids about government or explaining government to Democrats?
Oh, by far, it's more difficult to explain government to Democrats because they're so certain about the things that they know, and those things are just wrong. Whereas kids just don't know things, and you can actually explain them to them.
Are you more or less hopeful for the future?
I'm way more hopeful for the future than before I did this, because those kids are smarter than the people that we have in Congress currently.
I only came today because I thought Knowles was gonna be here.
Knowles? Oh wait, he must Michael Knowles. Wait, why Michael Knowles? What? You'd think Matt Walsh because he made that one kids book, right? They told him to say that. Do you think so? Do you think they told him to say that? That does sound like he's repeating a line. I don't know. I can't imagine like a 5 or a 6 year. I don't know how old kids are. Like a 6-year-old finding Michael Knowles entertaining, okay? I don't find Michael Knowles entertaining, okay? I don't even find his style of presentation entertaining because it's too dry for me, and I'm an adult who likes politics, okay? And that kid's like 6, okay? Well, let's be real. They probably told that kid to say that. Anyway, that was fucking ridiculous, okay? Ben Shapiro, what are you doing? Why are you, like, not debating really, but like, why are you trying to like in person? Like, you can't shit on Drag Queen Story Hour and then do right-wing demagogue story hour right afterwards. You can't do that, dog. Come on, man. Listen, all I'm saying is conservatives are more... Listen, all I'm saying is the rate of pedophilia among conservatives is higher than that among trans people and, like, drag queens. And Ben Shapiro thinks that drag queens are too dangerous to have around kids. So all I'm saying is that maybe we should apply Ben Shapiro's same standard, okay? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. It really does help out the video and the channel a lot more than you even realize. And if you're watching this live right now, also consider leaving a like on the stream. As the stream goes on longer and longer, YouTube stops recommending it to my subscribers, telling them that I'm live. But if you keep liking the stream, it tells YouTube that, yeah, maybe they should tell my subscribers I'm still live, which keeps new people coming into the stream, keeps things fresh, keeps the viewer count high, and just helps me out a lot. And it only takes like half a second to hit the like button, and it really does help. And it's totally free. Anyway, also, if you want to follow all my social media, links are down below, including my Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Discord, and, of course, my Patreon, which, of course, you can pledge to, where you'll be able to get all sorts of exclusive content. And, of course, speaking of pledging to me and being able to support me financially, if you want to donate to me to help me out to keep food in my mouth, a roof over my head, and, some lock and load in my belly to keep my cum nice and frothy and my loads nice and powerful, please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub over on my website, xanderhal.com/live. Super chatting or doing a super sticker over on YouTube, subbing, gifting a sub, or prime subbing for free over on Twitch, donating through Streamlabs, or even perhaps buying some of my crispy, delicious, frothing, hot merch. Links down in the description. It's pretty good stuff. Definitely get some of my merch. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, no matter how you support my channel, and yeah, have a good one.